Alright guys, in this video I'm going to show you guys how to change the strings on the Floyd Rose. Pretty easy. I'm doing a voiceover, so that's why the audio wasn't working. Anyway, you're going to need an Allen wrench. You're going to need a string cutter. This is a Dunlop one, and then you're going to need something to hold the tremolo. No, I'm using a Tremolo Buddy. This thing's really great. And also something to loosen the strings, and I'm using 9-42 dime bag signature ones on this one. And I use two different tuners just because it's the way I tune things. I've just been used to it, so don't worry about that, but you need a tuner. Now the Tremolo Buddy is pretty cool because some people put stuff under the bridge, under the tremolo. I don't really like doing that because sometimes it can move the posts and all that stuff. But I just use this because it's more secure, holds the strings and all that stuff, and I like it a lot. Now we're gonna unlock the locking screws. Pretty easy, you know. Mine's already loosened, so I'm just taking it off. And you guys want to make sure that you guys leave them in the same order that you take them off. Reason why is because if you look at that, you see how this one has lines on it? That's going to be the last two strings, the thinnest strings, and they leave kind of like marks. So you see as I'm loosening it, the Tremolo Buddy holds it nice in place, and this doesn't affect with the bridge mounts and all that stuff, but that's something else you don't have to worry about. If you have something just put under it, you're good. Once you loosen them, take out the strings. Be super careful when you take them out because you can poke yourself and it does really hurt. Now, when you take out the strings, just take them out pretty easy, nothing too hard. And yeah, once you take them out, you're pretty much set, and you're going to want to use this time to clean the guitar. Use a microfiber cloth. I got this one from Home Depot. It's like in a roll of microfibers. Pretty good. I mean, I like it. And look at the neck. I mean, I want to show you guys this. See how much wobble it is? I was like, what the hell? That's pretty crazy. But that's just something I want to show you guys. There's nothing to worry about. But look at the locking nut. You see how it's loose? This is the time to tighten it. Now, when you tighten it, you're going to hold it tight, push it down towards the fretboard or push it down towards the body, and then you're going to want to tighten it. Be careful. Don't over tighten this because you can strip it, and if you strip it, well, that's a whole nother thing, an issue that you have to figure out and fix. But just, do it kind of like hand tight, and you should be good. See, it doesn't move anymore. Once it doesn't move anymore, you should be solid. And we're going to go ahead and get these fine tuners. Now, you don't want to loosen them all the way. You don't want to tighten them all the way. You want them in the middle. And the reason for that is for when you're doing the fine tuning later on, you don't have to worry about it, and all that. It's just a step to do now. See how the nice and even level? That's how you want it. You're gonna want to go ahead and clean the fretboard. Now, like I said, I'm using the microfiber cloth from Home Depot. It's like an orange roll thing, but as long as it's clean towel, whatever, microfiber, nothing that scratches the board. I clean it before I put the oil, just to get some grime off and whatever the hell. It's not really dirty or anything. I use F1 oil. You can get this at Guitar Center. I shake it a bit because it's been sitting for a bit. I apply it directly on the paper towel. I mean, on the microfiber, because you see how on the cap the little tip thing was broken off. So, or else I would just put it on the fretboard itself. You're gonna want to go ahead and clean the fretboard. I mean, put the oil on the fretboard. All the way up and down, nice and good. I usually leave it for like about a minute, maybe two. Nothing longer than that, because I don't know. That's just me. Some people leave it for 15 minutes. I don't know. I leave it for like about a minute or two. After that, I go ahead and wipe it off with a brand new microfiber towel. I do it like in circle patterns just because just to try to get as much as I can off. And then I go over it again because I don't really like it when it's all left over. I like to try to get as much off after. And look, it's nice and hydrated, nice and good. Looks pretty good. I'm not polishing the frets or anything. I do that. I'm not even gonna worry about that now. But I use a dime bag strings. I'm getting the first string and the fourth string first. Gonna clip off the little ends of it. Once you clip them off, you're gonna go ahead and put the string in. You're gonna want to make sure the string is nice in the middle. You see how it's like nice and centered in the middle? It's kind of hard to see, but it's nice centered in the middle. And then once you do that, when you tighten it, you want to make sure you hold the saddle down and then tighten the screw, because you see how it wiggles the saddle. You could eventually cause more over time you can cause a lot of more wiggle and whatnot if you just kind of let it do like that, cause stability issues, things like that. So you want to push it down, not too tight, but just enough to hold it. And once everything's nice and stringed up, pretty good to go. I do that for all of them too. I hold them all down. Now when you're putting on the strings, I don't have a string stretcher. Some people do. I don't. I got to get one. But basically what I do is I'll make a nice little hard turn with the string, and then I'll hold it up and with my finger down, and I'll put the string up and kind of bring it up. You can't really see my hand, but that's what I'm doing. There you go. You can see it better. Now I'm pushing string down, holding it up, and to give it tension as I'm stringing it up. And that's just so it doesn't. You don't want to tune it or string it up when it's like loose and stuff like that. There's different ways of doing this. This is just the way I do it. Nothing crazy. Some people have their own techniques. I'm just nice and simple like that. Now, once the strings are all good, it's not tuned, but once it's good, I take off the Tremolo Buddy, and everything's good. Now, like I said, I use two different tuners. This is because I do the live tuning and stuff, and I've been doing this for years, so if it works, I don't really change it, kind of thing. Like, why change it if it's working good? So I see how right there on that tuner, I get it to the little side right there. Once I get it tuned all that good, put it into this other Korg tuner, the TM60. I love this thing. And the other one too, the Korg GA-2. These are my favorite tuners. Then I tune it to 452 hertz. I usually do 451 hertz, but I just, I was like, let me try 452. I was trying some things out. So once that's good, I tune it to the E flat standard, for the live tuning. But like just letting you know, it's 451 hertz E flat standard for the live tunings, which is what I usually like doing. And the reason why I said, I have the two tuners is because the other one helped me. Because, if I use this tuner straight away, this one, like the TM60, I don't know. Like, I don't know where to start, I don't know when to, I'm a little slow sometimes like that. So I use the other one because it tells me easier. And then I go, so yeah, basically that's why I use two tuners. But anyway, once I do that, you're going to go ahead and, make sure everything's nice and tuned. You want to make sure you have no issues with the Floyd, it going up or down. Now, if you do, I'm going to get into that. But basically, if you're using the same string gauge and tuning it to the same tuning, you shouldn't have any issues with anything. And if you're having tuning stability issues, that could be a different problem. But if you guys have any problems, leave them in the comments. I can get to you guys. Now, once everything's done tuned, you're gonna hold the locking nut, and you're gonna want to tighten it. Don't tighten too hard, but just good enough, where it's like nice and good. It's kind of every locking nut's different, but other than that, you should be set for that. Now, if you're done locking the tuners and you're tuning it with the fine tuners, that's good. Make sure you did it like the way I told you. Now, if your Floyd Rose is going like this, or like this, like that, or like that, after you tune it, then you're gonna have to unlock the locking nut, reset the fine tuners, and you're gonna want to tune it again. But what you're gonna want to do is, if the Floyd, like I said, if the Floyd is going like that, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to loosen the string just a little bit on each one. And you're going to want to tighten the screws right here in the back. Tighten them like this. 1, 2, give them like 1 or 2 depending on how. If it's a lot, then you're going to have to do it a lot. But if it's just like a little bit, you're going to give it like one full turn, 1, 2. And then what you're going to do is tune it again. If it's still a little high, same thing, loosen the strings again. Tighten the quarter turn, half turn. And then you want to repeat that process. Now, if the Floyd is dumping like that, what you're going to want to do is, tune it. And remember, if you have to adjust the Floyd, the locking nuts, they're not locked. They're unlocked, okay? Basically, so if it's dumping back, what you're going to want to do is go in the back on the springs. You're going to want to go ahead and loosen them. So put a screwdriver, loosen, give it one turn. And then tune it again until, it's level. It's a little playing, it's a little back and forth kind of game. But once you get it nice and leveled like this and it's in tune, or the tuning that you want it, or the tuning whatever you're on, once it's good, then you're gonna go ahead and lock it like you saw in the video, and then fine tune it and do all that stuff, and you should be good. So hopefully that helps. That's basically how to restring a Floyd Rose. There's different types of Floyd Roses, and if you're running into an issue, let me know what kind of Floyd you have, and I'll try to help you guys or see what's up, because it can be tricky sometimes, and sometimes it's really frustrating. But yeah, hopefully that helped you guys. That's just basically the basics. So if you guys need any other help, just leave it in the comments. Appreciate you guys. Godspeed. Get your pull. See you guys on the next one.